We do have a couple people who are planning to be on the panel who aren't here yet, but I'm hoping that they will show up, or if not, we already have a lot of fantastic people. So basically, to start this, I basically asked, try to grab like one person or two people from every year from Swing Club, from graduating classes 2004 to present. And we had a couple of years. We have some years that no one who was involved in Swing Club lives in the state anymore. So none of them are here. So is there anyone who I'm not familiar with St Olaf College?
I've heard of it.
Okay, then I won't say any background about St Olaf College itself, except for that, considering it's only a 3,000 student school, it has developed over the years a pretty popular swing club that is known today for coming out to all kinds of stuff in the Twin Cities. And so I kind of wanted to do this just to see how that progressed from a point in time where it just taught East Coast and was a teeny tiny club that very few people were a part of, and then became established, started teaching Lindy Hop, started having SOLFest, and it's still going strong, which is pretty awesome. So we're gonna start. We have people in age order. So everyone's going to introduce themselves, kind of say when they're involved in the club, kind of how they were involved, and just like a 1 or 2 sentence description of kind of what it was like. We'll have some overlap of what it was like, but just kind of bounce off each other. Frances, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Frances Emberley. How many of you are oldies out there? Awesome, like 90% of the audience. So I graduated in 2004. When I first came to St. Olaf, there was virtually no swing club there. I think I was the first person to teach Lindy Hop there. I've been told by a number of people that I was the first person to ever teach them how to do that. So yeah. So that's pretty cool. Do you want anything more, Amy?
Nope, just a short description for now. We'll go into more stuff later.
I'm Biz Mills. I was co-president of the Swing Club. Don't remember the years, Amy. When were we presidents?
Well, we graduated in 2005, so
2004 and 5?
Yeah, you're too.
Yeah, 2004 and 5. And so Amy was my co-president,
Yep.
and the Swing Club grew significantly during those 2 years.
Mhm.
And we did our best to teach people stuff with, flair.
Yeah, and I'll add on to that. My name is Amy Engelhard. I same time as Biz. Graduated in 05. My freshman year, they taught East Coast, and for the first few weeks, and then after that, there were a couple of us who learned lots of aerials. Poorly.
Never did that.
What?
Never did that.
Never did. No. We stopped doing that, and then we started teaching Lindy Hop to a small group, and then a slightly larger group, which brings us to Lauren.
I'm Lauren Casset Evans. I was in the swing club from 2003 to 2007, and I was president from 2005 to 2007. That first year that I was president, my junior year, we had our first biggest event, which was the Minnesota Colleges Swing Festival that we did in conjunction with Carleton. And then the next year was our first SOLFest. And the club grew a lot, and we brought in a lot of outside teachers, and I think that helped us kind of expand interest.
Yeah. My name's Mandy Klem, and I was in the swing club from 2006 to 2010, an officer in 2008 and 2009, and then vice president. I think I was vice president. I couldn't remember that. I was for my senior year, and Lauren actually taught me my first swing out, so that was pretty sweet. And I think what we did, and Becca Groupie was the president, and her and I talked about was putting emphasis on really being approachable and really trying to get people to realize what big swing world there was outside of just St Olaf College. So we showed a lot of videos. We encouraged a lot of just like solo dancing and making that, incorporating that into your dancing too. So
Cool. I'm Lauren Alvarez, so I'm a different one. I was at Olaf from 2008 through 2012. I was an officer kind of halfway through 2009. I don't know, but then through 2012. So I kind of did some stuff here and there. I think when we were there, Mandy actually taught me my spur swing out, so it was pretty exciting. And swivels, yeah. So we learned from Mandy, and then we tried to just expand things and make SOLFest I think quite a bit bigger. We changed the website up when I was there. We started a Facebook page, and just kind of trying to create a little bit more of a presence. We also started going to Uptown, I think, a lot more while we were there. So, and I think that's kind of stuck around. And just trying to grow. I think we consistently had maybe 30 to 40 a week.
Yeah, it was pretty decent.
Yeah.
Enough
so.
to make a circle and actually see it filled in.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
Ditto with Lauren. We were kind of the same time. I'm Michaela. I guess I was president 2012. I don't know. Anyways, mostly what we did was just try to get out more. I feel like that's our main contributor.
Okay. I'm Alexis Adams. I'm a current swing club leader. We actually don't have presidents anymore. We kind of banished that. So now we have 6 co-leaders. And we have pretty consistent, about 20 to 30 people coming to club, and we're constantly taking people out into the cities and trying to get them to really actually go out social dancing, which we think is really important to them to actually learn. And we're taking them to Uptown, and especially during interim because we actually have time. So each week this month we've been taking about 20 Olies up to Uptown, which is basically we're paying Peter's rent. So we're trying to really establish a good communication with people in the cities and actually connecting and actually going out social dancing, which is what we love to do. So
So we prepared a few questions to kind of propose to the panel. Some people will answer some questions, some people will answer others. The Olies in the audience, feel free to let us know what you think too. And then we'll open up the end to questions from everybody. So our first question that we want to talk about, and this will be for Francis, Biz, and myself mostly, and Lauren as well. What was Swing Club like before Lindy Hop?
Boring.
Huh?
Really boring. No.
It was. No, so when I first visited the college in '99, my high school senior year, I got to stay overnight on the campus with a couple of students, and they found out I was into swing dancing, and Swing Club just happened to be that night, and I was so excited about this. So we went to that little recital room in the Christensen Hall of Music. I don't know if you know this.
Yeah.
There were probably 6 of us there. And
right.
yeah, it was very small. It was a lot of fun. It was all East Coast, nobody Lindy hopped at that time. So when I got there the next year in 2000, it was still pretty small, kind of just like that. We had moved up and we were practicing in the band room at that point. And sometimes we maybe had 12 people. It was fantastic.
Wasn't there still carpet in there at that point?
I don't remember.
It didn't really matter for East Coast.
No, it didn't. Yeah, there were some, the current club leaders were teaching, I refer to it as scary aerials at the time.
Those are the ones I learned.
I was terrified. I wouldn't participate. I wouldn't even go in the room when they were happening. I felt they were very dangerous with it. I don't remember what year it was, but the president of the club at the time kept asking me to come in and teach Lindy Hop, and I was just a little apprehensive of some of it, but I finally said, okay, sure. brought Jason Zabinski down from the Twin Cities, who's a good friend of mine, and we put up a poster in the cafeteria, said, swing dance lesson this night, come on by, learn some Lindy Hop. We had no idea what was gonna happen. And by the time we started class, we had a wall of about 60 to 80 people in that room. Our jaws just dropped with that, and that is how St. Olaf got Lindy Hop, pretty much. It was fantastic. So we taught a class. I think we maybe taught another one after that.
There may have been two.
I think Jason came down a couple of times. But it is absolutely fantastic how much it has grown in between that first Lindy Hop lesson and now. So that's kind of how you guys got Lindy Hop down there.
Thank you. Yeah. And then that would have been the year before we took over the club because
Well, I transferred to St. Olaf my sophomore
you
year.
did, yeah.
And I remember going to swing club, and there was about 6 people in the scary aerials, and I was like, "Leave that boot. That's that's not the kind of club that is sustainable."
Yeah. What year did you come in? Was it 2002? Yeah. Okay, I think it was fall of 2001 that the Dittman Center for the Arts opened.
Yeah, because
That's where we always were.
Yeah, and so that gorgeous giant dance hall that we all know and love now, we got my second year there, and that's when we finally got out of the band room, which was pretty cool.
Which made those 6 people look a lot Yeah. When we took, I think our first year, like in 2003, I think we started with East Coast and then moved to Lindy Hop.
Yeah, we did East Coast 6 count, and then
our senior year we said, screw it, we're just teaching Lindy Hop, and people followed that.
yeah.
Laura was the first one of the first people in Lindy Hop.
I'm sorry.
I won't go into stories about that.
So we'll move on to our next question, but before that, welcome Ricky.
Hi.
Ricky, what year did you graduate first?
Yeah,
What year did you graduate?
I graduated in 2010, but I was around kind of in 2012. I'm a bachelor in nursing. It's a thing.
You have
So,
2 graduating years.
Yeah, I was around a lot.
Okay. Awesome. So we'll go on to our next question. I want some people to describe the importance of integrating with the greater Minnesota swing scene and how that affected Swing Club over the years. That was something that a couple people touched base on earlier. If you could just elaborate on that. Whoever wants to speak.
Well, I know what we did a lot of times is we did the same thing where we brought people down from the cities to teach down at St. Olaf just on a regular swing club basis. It wasn't necessarily just with SOLFest. So I think bringing people to the club was really useful, but then also, coordinating carpools and stuff. I know something we really did when Lauren was around was a lot of people would carpool up to Tapestry, and that was basically it. So I think it was really important because, and one thing that I did too, like I said, is I put videos in front of people and just said, look at how these people dance and how it's different from what we do and what we're teaching you, and just open your eyes and find people you like and find people you want to learn from. So it's super important.
I think the way up to the cities was huge because we had people who were willing to give rides. I think you were a ride giver. I know Susan was. And we all had our dance crushes up in the city. And we would make terrible life choices. Like we shouldn't have gone to Tapestry as much as we did.
We can do 4 hours of sleep before we get up for an 8 a.m. class.
Yeah, and we definitely
Eating in
shouldn't
the
have
lab.
stayed until 4 in the morning. It's like 3 in the morning.
Can we go to Denny's afterwards?
Yeah.
Make
So-
a day of it.
I remember people would be happy if they scheduled a Friday not at 8 a.m. Like, hey, guess what I got?
We
I
go
got
to
a
Tapestry every
yeah.
week.
Yeah, and then interim was huge for that too. Interim, I remember, was the time where people who we kind of hooked throughout the first semester, hook, line, and sinker during interim would be really every day. And that's where I first got tapped into, older dancers to kind of mentoring me and fostering me and say, hey, go dance with this person, and then dancers who were already in the cities had a chance to, speak to this rabid crowd who would go to anything. Come to my event, it was like, okay. Yeah, that was huge.
One thing to kind of know too is like, I feel like we also had a pretty good relationship, at least when we were there, with the other schools too. So like we went to a lot of Gustavus events. We used to go to stuff at Carleton. I remember my freshman year we like went to Carleton's Pres Ball, just like randomly, like freshmen. We like didn't know what we were doing.
We did the same thing.
Yeah,
I came to Press Bowl like 2 or 3 years. I mean, our Press Bowl is not nearly as impressive as what you guys put. You guys are wearing like prom dresses and like tuxedos, and our equivalent is just like, yeah, my shirt has a collar.
I was glad though, because we like weren't very dressed up, and they were like, oh, okay, and I don't know, but we used to do that a lot, and like I think my sophomore year we started trying to get people to go to like other events too. So like instead of just SOLFest, we like went to Hawkeye my sophomore year, and like people were going to Midwest Lindy Fest. Like my freshman year, people were already like carpooling up to do that and stuff, and like I don't know, I just thought it was really cool. And so I like got people wanting to kind of go out a little bit more, and it was easier when there's like a group of us doing it as opposed to like if I would have had to do it by myself, I would have probably never gone to any of those things. So
I had a car as a freshman, so everyone like latched on me really quickly. Like, oh, we should go out social dancing. And I was like, okay. I didn't know how to dance, and I was just like going out. Like I went to SDS, like you took me to SDS, and then we went to RJ all the time. Like I really didn't know how to dance that well, but like I honestly learned half of my dancing by dancing with like people in the cities, and I got so much better from just like going out and actually social dancing. And like that's what in club now, like we teach in club, but we really encourage them to actually travel to the cities because they learn so much from dancing with other people, because you get stuck in this little rut if you like dance with the same people over and over again, and you just have habits and you like know how they dance, and you're just like, oh, I already know what you're gonna do, so it was like piece of cake. But if you go out and dance with new people, it's like a challenge, and you're actually practicing actual social dancing and not just like doing the steps.
To piggyback off that, we had 2 leads, period. And so I learned over the first 6 months of dancing how to adapt to all of their flaws. And then how to learn how to not do that at the same time that they're learning not to do that as well, because that's what happens in this small group. So it was really great to one semester, I think we went every single week to Tapestry till close. Then went out to Perkins.
Yeah.
And I drank a lot of coffee at 3 a.m. It's bad. You don't sleep after that. But hey, I got home.
So we'll move on to our next question. How have you kept interest in this dance within the college community every year?
I think swing dance did it too. Like swing dance did it for us. Like we said, like we have swing dance, and then swing dance did the rest. Like we didn't need to like have the disease work. We just needed to like infect them.
You see it once, you're like, I gotta do this. I just gotta do it. And then we provide an outlet for them.
So yeah, maybe we could talk about ways that we like
Investing.
introduced other
Yeah.
people. So something that we started when I was there was doing swing bombs.
Yeah.
Because dancing is fun. So often on reading days or like during finals, we would just set up music and go dance, just in the middle of Buntrock or on the Buntrock. Do you guys still do that?
Yeah.
Okay, that makes me so happy. But yeah, so other people see how much fun we're having, and so then they want to come to club, and more people tend to come to the jazz band events that we have. Periodic swing dances, I think that's been happening for a long time.
Well, and with
It's
that
a good way to
too,
introduce people.
being it in like this big event center, people would just like pop in and see what we were doing, and then have interest in it. Like, what are you guys doing? Then even to go do it.
Not quite.
Like most public places possible, though.
Yeah, I mean that was the point. Like, so,
Maybe it was terrible decisions too. So you'd like dance outside on the concrete. Probably not the best for your knees or your body, but whatever. Yeah, worth it.
I want to say too, I came down for Christmas Fest 2 years ago. It would have been 2012, I think. I don't know if any of you danced in Buntrock at that time. The swing club was out there, and they.
That was probably us.
I went down with my husband for Christmas Fest, and all of a sudden the swing club comes out and they're doing what you did California routine, I think. You did the shim sham and my jaw just dropped.
It's like, we can go out to Tapestry? It means we're going off campus.
Yeah. We rented so many vans.
So many bands.
Yeah.
That was so much fun. This huge white van pull up like, hey, St Olaf is here.
I know, like, one thing we do now, we really try and hit hard on the freshmen, so we hit the co-curricular, and we also started, like, going to each of the freshman dorms
Yeah,
and
that's right.
swing bombing, and, like,
Because they have time.
they have time, and they have that, like, week where they're just, like, figuring things out and getting, like, coddled by everyone, and so we, like, try and show off a little bit and, like, get them to come, and at co-curricular, we always convince some guys to come because all the little freshman ladies are going, and they're like, oh, this is a chance. I've been eyeing this lady at Playfair. Oh, this is my time. And so, like, we usually have a ton of people come for the first few weeks, and then it kind of putters out a little bit because they actually learn, oh, this is actually a little more difficult than East Coast, and this is actually kind of challenging. I'm just here for the ladies. So, yeah, it's hard to, like, kind of, like, keep them around, but we try and, like, really get them at the first few weeks of college.
I mean, there's definitely people who they still had interest, but as the year progresses, obviously you go,
Yeah.
oh, college is hard.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I can't be in every single thing I'm interested in. I have to pick and choose. So.
Well, and I never would have danced ever. Like, but the reason you guys remember how I started dancing? You guys did a screw for my corridor.
Oh yeah.
Lindsay's corridor and Chris's corridor, and that's how I got introduced. Like, and I thought it was the most fun night I'd had at college, so I started going to club.
I forgot that we
So,
did that.
great way to introduce people who were like not gonna go
Yeah.
dance.
I'm sorry, I must have missed something.
No, this was it.
And inter-corridor event. What were they?
So it was
technically
basically
called?
in freshman year, a girls' corridor and a boys' corridor would get together to
Do
hang out
something.
and do something. Cause
Not that thing, but
No.
Basically, a way to introduce you to other
Yeah.
people.
That was the name that
Yeah.
everyone called it.
Yep.
But you're like your hall of people, like we call them junior counselors. They would.
A co-ed extracurricular of
Yeah, something
Yeah.
like that.
It is St Olaf.
Yeah.
A mixture.
Yeah, I'm serious.
Yeah, but yeah, so they scheduled like a predetermined activity, and then the group would go
Yeah, it
out
was
and do
swing
it
dance.
together.
Yeah, it was swing dancing, and I mean, we had like perfect numbers, and so it
Yeah.
worked really well. And you guys danced, and I was like, oh, this is
Because
so
your
cool.
JCs were really good friends with Biz
Yes.
and I and Tyler, who also taught with us.
The two Tylers.
The two Tylers. So it's like, you guys can help. Okay. Cool. Let's move on. We'll talk about SOLFest, kind of how that started and how continuing it do you think has impacted the community? For those
Okay, I
of
can
you
talk about
who
how it
don't
started.
know that.
So the precursor to SOLFest was the Minnesota College Swing Festival, which has anybody even heard of that? It happened once.
I have.
Yeah,
I
okay,
heard of it
okay.
as
So
something that
Carlton
happened in
used
the
to have a
distant
good club,
past.
like a while back. I don't know if they still do or not, but they had some good people. Lee Tucker was his senior year was when we did Midwest College Swing Fest. And so we got together and thought, okay, if we pool our money, we could bring in some really great teachers and we could have this great event. But yeah, basically pooling resources and getting our clubs together. And we also really wanted to get people down from the cities because we can encourage our people to go up to the cities, but the flip side of that is getting people from the cities to come down so that, you know, our students, you know, make friends with those people and say, hey, there's this bigger world. So another way to introduce them to the bigger world and get some really good teachers. And so we did that event. And then the next year, there wasn't really Carlton leadership that was interested in doing it again. So we said, okay, we're going to do it by ourselves. And we're going to have the St Olaf College Lindy Fest. And yeah, didn't have a whole lot of funding that first year because it was the first thing. Just got as much money as we could from student government and brought in, you know, not the highest paid teachers that we SOLFest later had, but some folks that we knew. And yeah, it was a great event. A lot of people came down, and I'm so happy that it's still going. So you guys can talk about how it took off from there.
I was going to point out too, I think the one thing that you guys did really well is you recognized that Becca was going to be a leader, and you guys like took her under her wing like when she was a freshman and just like made her into this really great leader who knew everything about SOLFest. So then our senior year, and I'm like, Becca, let's make this a amazing and lets him, spend all of our money.
That's pretty much event planning in a nutshell.
We spent all of the money. We flew in Naomi, because she didn't live here yet, and we had Peter come down, and Mike and Laura from Austin, and Adam Bomer, and brought down Bill and Shannon, and we just really wanted a variety of people to, attract different people from the cities to come down and have that desire to learn in our setting, and just making sure, that it was great music and carrying on that jazz band tradition. I really liked how that's still going on, right, for the jazz band plays. That's so cool. I love that, and I think that they love that too. And I don't know, Becca just did a really good job of making sure that, she did all the stuff behind the scenes. So I think that that's good. Just train them young,
Well, yeah, and I'm not gonna take credit for that, because like I asked for volunteers to help me, and Becca volunteered. I didn't even know her. Like, honestly, I was like, there's this freshman that I don't know. Great. And so we'd have planning dinners, and so it was her and Katie Beth and Jameson and I. And and so she was the youngest one, so she was the one, that could really carry it through. But yeah, I honestly didn't know her, and then she got to be a good friend just because she stepped up and said, sure, I'll help with this.
Something you said there actually kind of leads to the next question. Kind of like, how do you do as officers to ensure continuity from year to year, including having effective officers?
The grooming, I think, of Becca and all that was huge. and I feel like our year was like we were a little worried about the future. I think there was no leads going forward.
Yeah.
We were kind of panicky. So we need to find a man. Anything to lead, and we ended up. I think you guys ended up just getting really good at leading and completely making it a non-issue at all.
We also had a really big, our graduating class was huge for swing club, because we had Ben, we had Wes, we had I don't know, our graduating class had I think 20 dancers, and I don't know if that's an exaggeration, but people who came to club at least, we had a lot of people, so we were kind of concerned for who was going to go after us, because we were we don't really have a lot of people younger.
I think we brought in a lot of youngers, a lot of you guys basically were like, hey, let's this person be good, let's do this person too, and this one and this one and this one, and I think we just try to get you guys all involved in learning stuff.
And we also kind of started, I feel like Francis and I talked about this, we kind of changed the focus about, the guy always leads and the girl always follows, and then it was just just pick a part and just do it, and I think that it kind of helped, because then I remember when we did 30-second choreography, I just had a group of all girls, because I was we're not going to find guys that will commit, it's just not going to happen. And I was we'll just do it ourselves, and so but doing that, we practiced with each other, and I think we got, we're not the best leads, but we were solid, I thought, we did a decent job, and it's kind of nice, because we kind of learn from each other in that way, and now half our guys follow anyway, and all the girls pretty much lead, because you just kind of have to. So, and then I remember we talked to Jason one time when he taught at SOLFest, and we were like, how can we get guys to stay? He was like, you just have to assure them that they're not going to be Fred Astaire the first day. And I think it's kind of like what Alexa was saying, they're expecting to come in and be I'm going to be so suave and get all the girls, it's going to be so good. But Lindy Hop's hard, I consider myself I have a pretty good aptitude for learning body movements and stuff, and I had a really hard time picking up Lindy immediately, and I was really scared, but it takes there's a big learning curve in the very beginning, and you have to kind of tell them listen, you're not going to get it today, it's just not going to happen. And we kind of changed the focus, I think, our senior year to the first lesson, instead of being here's a swing out, we'll be okay, here's just how you move another person, and it was just a leading and following exercise, and I think that really helped people enjoy themselves a little bit more, because at least they're doing something if I move my arm, you go here. Oh, okay. So
We try to focus more on connection and pulse, and just letting people kind of move how they felt they should move, and just trying to teach them really, really simple basics before giving them a partner to see what happens.
Now, the ambidextrous thing is really going strong, because almost everyone in club is trying to learn both. And I know when teaching, I'm gonna say a good 60% of the time I'm actually teaching lead. We have 2 guys who are officers, and they teach sometimes, but I teach a little more often than they do because they have busy lives and all I have is swing club. But yeah, we definitely and like especially the young like the sophomore girls, they're really down for learning how to lead, and because we have so many freshman ladies coming in, they volunteered to lead during class, and it's just like really great because like even the guy swing officers are learning how to follow, even though they're struggling a little
Switched
bit.
at the lesson I was at.
I was like, yes.
Yeah.
The kind of willingness to just kind of give what you can and do what you can, I think, is huge. Like especially when you're doing a big event, I think that's taking a huge stress off this core group of officers. Like, hey, you can make a poster, right? Like not being afraid to like make a very collective club rather than like a hierarchical like officer class that's its own little silver tower thing.
That's why we like got rid of the president. Like we really wanted it to be more like a swing family, and so we have like swing family dinners every week, and we discuss what we need to do or like what we're gonna teach our club, and like that's what we really want to continue and like have it be like a collective because we have seen like where like trauma hits and we're like we don't want to deal with that, and we also don't want it to be like a hierarchy, and we also want everyone to like have the least amount of stress as possible because SOLFest is stressful. So stressful, but we really didn't want anyone to like be breaking down crying over it, so we really wanted to like delve out what we can do and like volunteer and like really work as a group. And so we're like really trying to think of who we're gonna pick for continuing on because we want to work together and not really like have like jobs or something, but we want to work as a unit, and we just have to like pick who we would think would mesh well with everyone, which is difficult.
A lot of it too is like role modeling a
Yeah.
bit too, because I remember like when Mandy taught, I was like, I want to be just like Mandy, like and it's like true facts, like that was like my goal in life. So, and it's like funny it's funny because like then when you like as an officer when you like go to the CAF, you'll get like the freshmen you teach, they'll like come up and be like, it's so weird seeing the teachers and the CAF. Like, yeah, I'm a student too. But you like don't realize that, and so I think when at least our senior year we like tried to pick people that we thought like people felt really comfortable around, so that it was like approachable and like somebody that you would be like, yeah, this person's cool, like I would really like to be like that person.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of helps too.
Yeah. And we like to hang out with like the swing babies all the time. Like we go to the pause after class. Like every week we go to the pause, we hang out, and we just like chat.
I was terrified of Lauren. The first person I met you,
I'm
but-
so scary.
Well, it was probably my fault. 'Cause I was like, let's start a salsa club. And you're like, we already have ballroom. Like, go away. It was that co-curricular fair.
No, I didn't. No way.
Well, but I was like, I'm gonna start a salsa club at St Olaf, and like. No. Well,
Shut that down.
It would have been redundant. It wouldn't have worked anyway. Like it was a failed thing in the first place. And you like pretty gently told me that, but but then I came to the club and like instantly like it's Lauren. She's not mean.
I actually thought that Wes was super mean. Ben Peterson was the nice one. No.
But you guys like would like dance with the new people and we didn't think the officers ate, they don't eat half of the rest of us. They have a special half or something. So like just like not being afraid to like dive in and have those like you don't know how to dance dances. Like were so boosting for us because I felt like the best dancer in the world. And I danced with like the dance to the dance follows. Like I'm amazing. It made me keep going.
Yeah, we definitely had a very different experience.
Yeah, I was gonna say, when you handed off, there wasn't a lot. You guys graduated a lot of people from swing club. I was kind of scared.
Well,
When you guys graduated.
I think you were a sophomore.
I was a sophomore.
And
yeah.
then we had freshmen.
And there were no juniors.
And then we picked the 2 boys that were freshmen who were interested.
Yeah.
And then
So
and you were
handoff,
due for year.
dumping, same difference. Yeah, I don't think we planned for continuity. I don't recall doing anything.
It was nice that we were officers for 2 years in a row because
That's
we
true.
made a lot of mistakes that first year.
Yes, we did.
And so I think, and I don't know how I don't remember how we did it, but I think we sat down before our senior year and like, how are we going to do this differently?
We may have had that conversation.
Well, because we switched from doing East Coast and Lindy to doing Lindy. I don't know if that was an actual conversation. We just decided to do that or something. I don't know.
There weren't
I feel old.
There weren't meetings yet at that point.
No, we didn't.
They were just kind of
We had
conversations
In my dorm
over
room.
at some other time.
They existed. You weren't there.
I'm using you, me, Tyler, and Tyler.
Yes, hanging out. Yeah.
Stuff. Anyways.
Yeah. So no, there was no transition. I apologize.
No, it's fine. I was super excited. I'm like,
All right.
the swing club person.
Yeah. So first thing, find somebody who's interested. If they're not, good luck.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think that's why a lot of clubs die, is you have
Yeah.
automatic turnover, and if you don't have somebody to
Yep.
that's gonna step up and really
Yeah.
wants to invest, especially when you have so many other things going on.
Yeah.
You need to have a few people that are gonna prioritize and
Yeah.
And it
know
makes-
they're gonna stay committed.
It makes a huge difference when you have a strong leader who really reaches out to the rest of the club.
Mhm.
You know, if you don't feel that person is approachable, friendly, whatever, forget it. It's dead in the water. So.
We have one more question for the panel. If St. Olaf was your intro to Lindy Hop, what made you decide to join swing club in the first place and learn dance?
I already answered that.
Can I tell you my specific story?
Yes.
This is what I wanted to say. So there was this one jazz dance happening in the pause, right? And I was like, I don't know about this. I love to dance my whole life, right? But I didn't know about swing dancing, and I walk in and there's a jam circle happening. There's Lauren and Charlie like going at it and throwing each other around, and it was the coolest thing ever. It was like, I am gonna do that. I'm gonna be able to be in the middle of a jam circle and be, know what I'm doing. And so then I went to swing club that next week and I never stopped going. And then it was just great. So you got me like, I just will remember that for the rest of my life. Like, you looked so happy in the middle of this jam circle, and I just thought it was like, there's like spotlights on you guys, and it was like a heavenly experience. Like, here they are dancing. So anyway, that was my story.
Well, and then you were the reason I went. I had like a breakup and like she got into dancing at her college. She was a different college, and like I wanted to like learn swing dancing and like win her back or something. But you were like, oh, okay, but swing dancing also makes you happy. Come to swing club. Yeah, I did that.
That's so funny. I just remember my freshman year, I signed up for a ballroom club and swing club, and I thought that I would like ballroom club more because it was like Latin dancing, which is like my roots. So I was like, I'm all about this. And I like remember I went to ballroom club and I was like, this is a piece of cake. I got this. And I went to swing club and I thought it was like so hard. And I almost didn't go because I was like a freshman and I was like, but I don't know anybody. Like I don't know. And then I was like, you're a freshman. Of course you don't know anybody. So, well, I got nothing to lose. I'll just go. And like I actually grabbed Colleen like on the way because she lived in my corridor. And so that's like how she started too. Was she like went with me and then we went and I was like really afraid and I was really bad and there were not enough leads, so I like learned to lead first, and then when I got a partner they were like, you're doing it wrong, and I was like, ah! Like I don't know. And then I was like, and I remember I like wrote on my friend's wall because she like I picked it up the same time and I was like, I literally am the worst swing dancer ever, but of course this means I have to go back because I'm not gonna lose. And, like, so I don't know, I don't even know if I like saw you guys dancing really. I just knew that I wanted to dance, so I signed up for every dance group I found, and yeah, emails.
I was enchanted. Like, I always wanted to dance, but like in my town, there was just like just for kicks, and I'm like, that's just weird cheerleading. I'm not gonna do that. And then I came to St Olaf, and there was a Rick Fair. I was walking around, and I was really overwhelmed. There's like so many people, and I see this like golden beacon hovering on the top, just bouncing. I'm like, what the hell is happening? So I go over, and it was Ben Peterson. And I see all of them like dancing, and I'm like, oh my god, this is so cool. And I was just like, this is awesome. And so I was watching them dance, and then I signed up, and I went for a couple weeks, and I watched the Ballroom Club, and I was like, yeah, doesn't look as fun.
Ballroom Club, they like died like my sophomore year.
They're still around and kicking.
They were, but there was like 4 members. When I went, there was like 30.
See, Carlton's the exact opposite. So our swing club was like your guys' ballroom club, very small, and our ballroom club is much closer to something like your swing club.
That was different when I was there, because we would go to Carlton,
Yeah.
and a bunch of Carlton people would come and help us because they actually knew how to dance.
Yeah,
Yeah, there was a time.
There was a time.
There was a time.
Someone told
After Lee Tucker graduated,
Yes, that was the end. That's
That
what
it wasn't the end, but it just.
Someone told me Peter Strom used to dance at Carlton. I don't know if that's true. Someone
Peter
said that.
himself, like he used to go down and like be able to dance at Carlton, because he knew people there, like Chaz.
And then apparently our club imploded at some point between then and now, and I don't know when or why that happened.
There
But
were a number of kind of the big names up in the cities that would come down to Carlton,
Yeah.
St. Olaf. Jason Zabinski and I went down to St. Olaf for the jazz dances for a number of years after I graduated and kind of pulled some city folk down. So I'm sure he was over at Carlton too.
So that concludes all the questions that we had. We'd love to answer any questions anyone else has. Any questions?
I don't know if this. I don't know if this is a question or more of a comment, but so I led the Mac Swing Club for a couple of years, and man, it was a struggle to even get people to want to go out to Tapestry. And I don't know if that's unique to Macalaster, but like, because you guys would bring like a full van up to
We were
Tapestry.
bored. Like, I mean, for Macalaster, at least, like, you walk and there's, like, things.
at Carlton
fair
we just
enough.
drank. I mean,
You underestimate
I don't know.
Northfield.
we just drank at Carlton. We never left our rooms.
Carlton,
We
St.
could
Olaf are
have
different.
alcohol.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, we could technically,
I
and some
wonder,
people did.
yeah, I just wonder about like how much of like what type of school St. Olaf is plays into the
I think it's a
oh,
lot.
for sure.
A lot.
club
Like a lot.
popular.
I think part of it too is like when I was at Olaf, anytime that people were going to the cities, it was like an opportunity that I didn't know was going to come up again. Like, because I didn't have a car, so if someone's like, hey, I'm going to Tapestry on Thursday, do you want to come? I'm like, yes, 100%. And I would like move my schedule around however I had to do to make it happen, because I didn't know if I was going to get to go again. When you're in Macalaster, you're like, you know, like you're not that far away. It's like a 10-minute drive. So it's like if you can't go this time, you can probably go next week, and it's like not a big deal. And so it was always just like this like shining opportunity.
That's a good
like
point.
every time.
That's a really good point.
And so like because I wanted to dance all the time, I was like, yeah, I can do it. Whereas like now when I live in the cities, I'm like, well, I can't. I mean, I can just go next week. I'm busy, you know. And it's not quite as much of a priority as it was back then.
I think it's a little different now though, because like me and Mandy go to the cities every week, so there's always like an opportunity for people to come. But I think like we really push people to go to the cities, and like or like a lot of them have been going over interim, and like they're seeing like all these great dancers at RJ, and they're like, ooh, this is so fantastic, I want to dance with them, and so they're like a little bit enchanted by it, I guess, and so they want to go more than.
That's true. Yeah, the other thing I'd like to point out about St. Olaf too, especially versus Carlton. Carlton is really very close to the downtown area. It's easy. It's
Up
easy.
north.
Yeah, it's easy to walk places from there. St. Olaf, you are on the top of a hill. It is about a
Cold.
45-minute
Even in summer, it's
walk.
cold.
45-minute walk into town.
I made that walk except to Olaf from
Yeah.
Carlton
Yeah.
to go dance with you guys.
St. Olaf also has a a lot of restrictions on who can have a car there.
Yeah.
So you are stuck there. There
Yeah.
are no buses that go anywhere, versus Macalaster, you got
Right.
bus routes all over the place,
Yeah.
kids with cars,
Fair
whatever. So in addition to St. Olaf just having a very unique group of students, we're isolated.
Although, because I talk about this with my husband David a lot, who's way back there, that Gustavus is almost the exact same distance from the cities, also a Lutheran college on a hill, and yet for some reason the Oles more wanted to come up, whereas Gustavus, I think after 2 years after you left,
None of us have cars.
neither does Olaf.
I
And
had
yet
a
some,
car.
yeah.
You
So
guys
it helped if officers had cars.
Yeah,
I freshmen had cars my
I had
senior
a car.
year. You had a
Well,
car.
because I lived more than
Yeah.
100 miles
So we
away,
had a
so I
couple-
didn't have a car.
But we'd make friends, like, I remember Katie Beth had a car, and she was a freshman, and
Yeah,
so
she
we pushed her to
from
go
Spain.
out every week because she had a car.
Yeah.
So to solve the problem, you just buy cars for swing club. Everybody will come to the city.
Yeah.
And then one year we had Carlton drive us.
And I think you have to get to the point of like making friends in the city so you want to go.
Right.
Because it's like, if
Yeah.
I'm just going to dance with the other Oles, I can do that every week and stay on campus and not spend a lot of time in the car. But once you make friends in the cities, then it's like, well, I want to go because that's my only chance to see them. So I think you need like some people to take you. Like you guys took me up there because I wouldn't go by myself, like to this place I've never seen. And then, starting to make those connections. So on the flip side, like as other people in the cities, if there's a college student and you befriend them, like they're going to be more likely to come up and they're going to bring their other college friends up, and that's a way that the scene grows then, because then they might stick around and,
I think
it
that's a big thing.
contributes to the scene.
Because like a lot of always make connections with people in the cities, like not only Peter Strom, but just like dancers that we love to dance with. And even though we aren't in the same age range, we're like great friends with them. And I just don't think that other colleges make as much of an effort to go out because they don't know people as much. And so they don't see the point, I guess. But I just really think it's beneficial to go to the cities, and we really stress that. And it's like so helpful for the dancers, but I don't think the other clubs realize that yet.
Well, I know Wes and I taught at Hamlin last year during my gap year after I graduated, and like all of our Hamlin kids were just really intimidated by everybody. And I feel like when I went with Olaf, we were always like, go dance with this person, they're super nice, and like blah blah blah. Or even like
tell our friends to go ask them.
yeah, or even like I remember Ricky introduced me to Lauren. She's like, she's an Oli too, and I was like, yay! And it was like really exciting. So I felt like I like knew more people, and I feel like if you don't have that connection, if you don't have someone kind of being like, this person's cool, go talk to them, or like whatever, it can be kind of hard too, because it's like when you enter a room full of people who don't know, but also like, holy shit, these guys are really good, and I don't know what I'm doing. Like, it can get kind of scary too, and I think that's probably our biggest problem with like our Hamlin group getting them out, is just that they're just like so freaking scared of everybody. Like,
It's helpful when you bring a bigger group, like when we bring an Oli army to our dance.
That's right.
They're like way less scared because they like cluster together and they like watch people dance. And then they like our friends like ask them to dance, and it's really like exciting for them. And they like aren't as intimidated when they're in a group, I guess.
that's true.
We like prep hours, like you stand out in the front, you like go close to the back, you get like you present like yourself for the dance, like because otherwise you never get asked. Like dance a little bit, go to the other range. Yeah, in the shooting range.
And I told all of the follows, I think I remember telling them, like, there are not as many leads as follows, so you gotta be aggressive. Like, you gotta go up, like, intercept people, and like, you know what, let's dance right now, And I think part of what was really good for us too, what got me really excited to go, was just the enthusiasm of all the leaders, and they made it more of a norm. Like, it wasn't necessarily a choice to go. It was like, if you really want to have a lot of fun and get really good, you're coming to the cities, and this is how it's gonna be. And I think that's what we took on, and it sounds like that's what you guys all did too. It's like you're just excited about it, and I think that's so contagious, especially for influential little swing babies. Yes, it's just then they kind of cling to that and then want to see what this excitement's all about.
And we're like always telling them about events. Like we have story time after club. So like they always like run and slide, and we're like standing in the middle, and like we tell them like about what's happening in like this week, or like if someone's going to RJ, or if there's like events going on in the cities, or like festivals and like we get them excited about it because we're excited about it, and we really want them to have the same feelings about dance that we do. So we try and like, I don't know, melt it into their brains.
Well, back it up with an email.
Yeah, always. So many emails.
I don't always read them all though. You have to be careful. Chris and I put so many Easter eggs in all our emails to Swing Club that never got noticed. We're like, tee hee hee, this is so clever. But people don't really care.
Like using GIFs a lot, and
Gifs.
then Christina likes
Key.
using sparkles in emails, so you get excited.
Yeah, so.
Technology. We're not around.
Man, squirrel mail.
Squirrel mail.
When we were in college, we didn't have Facebook.
Yes, we did.
Like a senior year.
Yeah, and I remember sitting in lecture hall going, Facebook. So what's this Facebook?
Yeah. That was my freshman year.
And the entire campus pretty much shut down for a week.
Yep, it really did.
Did we have a Facebook group before?
Facebook has changed groups so much that even if there was,
Yeah. It's
But
like
I feel like I was
page
in a
and-
Facebook group for Swing Club at one point that always like did stuff before we made the page for it. And I was like, why doesn't anyone use this group? And I was like, wait, there's just nobody in it that still goes to one.
oh, that might be, yeah, maybe
Yeah.
that.
But now we have a set page and we pass it on.
I'm a big fan.
We decorated it. we took, so we had like a little Christmas card photo shoot with the officers. We dressed up really awfully. We had like
It was
horrible
good.
sweaters.
Oh, I saw that. It was really cute.
I'm
Good.
wearing my retainer in the picture, and we have
The
like
one
really
with
bad
just my
Photoshop,
face
and like
when
we're
you
in a
got
snow globe, and we look like really excited. We had that as like a photo.
Any other questions? I think I saw one earlier.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll do it for you later if you
Two questions. One, I heard some mention of like the type of school influenced the fact that people went out a lot. And I'm wondering have we already thoroughly addressed that, or is there other stuff about the type of school that I should hear about? Like we've talked about the isolation and on the hill and nobody having a car and stuff like that. But is there something else about this school in particular that, I don't know, aided the swing club's success, do you think?
It's the arts.
tracks.
Yes.
say.
Yeah, about a
Nerdy
third.
liberal
It's like a
arts
third.
nerd,
Yeah. About a third of the people at St Olaf are somehow involved in music. And so a lot of people, if I remember right, a lot of people who come to Swing Club at least in the first place were, because I was in band, so like I remember teaching and like pretty much half the band came. And then I'd make announcements in band when we had the dances, like everyone come to the dance, I will be teaching, and the entire jazz band will be there, which is about a third of you. So you got that, the Oli Choir is internationally known, orchestras, you got a lot of people who are arts oriented, musically inclined in the first place, who would be interested in the first place of dancing.
And I think St Olaf really emphasizes joining groups. Be a joiner. So your first day you're like, what group should I be a part of? What label should I wear? And so we kind of rode that mindset.
It's very much a community down there. I mean, in addition to the arts, I'm not even sure how to describe, what it is that makes St. Olaf so unique like that, but when my husband came down the first time, he went to the U of M, so he had a very different college experience. And when we left, it was reunion weekend. I think we sat in on some classes. He went to the Great Con class, listened to that lecture, and when we left, he just looked at me and said, "Wow, I get it now. I understand why this is such an important place to you." So yeah, it's unique. It's a real treasure down there.
You never stop being an Oli.
Nope.
Even as a transfer.
Did you guys charge for the lessons?
Everything
was always
I think that would have ruined it. I think
Yeah.
that would have completely crushed it. If we had to do it for the drivers, like to make the drivers not stop driving, like make it like
chipping.
yeah, like
Yeah.
sustainable.
We
for
did that, and I
drivers.
think we collected dues in like the first, like after the second week for 1 year. Yeah, we did. We tried because we couldn't get money from the Student Government Association
We
when we
still
first
can't
started.
get money.
We got like,
No.
We're highly in debt, but that's okay. We'll figure it
Well,
out.
Yeah.
spend money.
No, I know. So we carried it over from year 1 to year 2, but it was like minimal. It was like $5 or something like that for the entire year.
Wow. Yeah, we always had everything free to students. even SOLFest, and anytime instructors would come in, but anybody outside would pay not a whole lot, but
I remember
something.
that being like a requirement to get money from the SGAs. It had to be free.
Free.
to students.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Because
could
everything
be.
on campus is free.
Yeah, I
True.
think it depends, because I know when we had Damon teach blues a couple times, I think we did charge oldies. I feel like.
Well, it's
Did a
Damon.
few times. Like the special classes that were supposed to come in and like help
Yeah,
people
we got
with more
SGA money
advanced
for that.
Right.
Yeah,
So
it wasn't like a lot though. It wasn't like going to uptown costs.
yeah, it was pretty cheap. It was definitely cheaper than for people coming from the outside, but I think we did charge a little bit. Same with, I think we had a Balboa workshop my senior year, and that I think we charged a little bit too. I mean, it does kind of dwindle attendance a little bit, and like SOLFest on Sundays, we usually would charge oldies like $10 for like one of the classes or something like that, and so less people would come to it, but people still show up.
Yeah, we didn't have like an extra cost for the Sunday dance, but we didn't want to start charging people, but we also don't get like enough money from the SGA because we aren't as recognized as a club as we should be. Because we're like the largest club on campus, but we don't really get the attention or money for it. So.
It's because you're not like benefiting AIDS.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like Olaf really like emphasizes like a humanitarian kind of thing, and so since we're not like going out and saving the world,
Yeah.
you can argue that all you want,
Yeah.
but
If you
like
were to do outreach like dance at nursing homes or stuff like that.
we tried.
to
Oh, you
sell that.
yeah.
We tried to sell that. Like when we went up to them to ask for money, especially for the guys, we're like very much making it. This is a community kind of event that anyone can come to. We're advertising it to Northfield. We're advertising it to Carleton. All the students can come for free. Like people from the cities will be here. It'll be like this huge thing, and they're like, okay, well here's some money. Okay, thanks. We're like, we can work with that. So, yeah, I don't know. I think they just want to see something more beneficial come out of it than, because it's kind of, like the dance is kind of temporary versus the outreach programs that Olaf has they're trying to be more long lasting.
Yeah. We actually get a fair amount of money from SOC. I mean, we didn't cover all of SOLFest, but no one else gets that much money.
Yeah.
So we're actually pretty lucky to get as much money as we do. We just throw in an expensive event. So
Yeah.
because I mean other club there's one club right now that's trying to put on a talk for something really important sounding. I forget what it was. It was very profound. When I heard it, I was like, wow, that's beautiful. And they get like $400 to throw their event, and so they're probably not going to be able to do it anyway. But so.
You had another question.
Yeah, I was just wondering if you have any suggestions for what not to do as a swing club leader. What mistakes have you made that you would rather not remake?
Don't alienate new people.
Yep.
Or take yourself seriously.
That
Yeah.
was the mistake we made our
True.
first year. So we thought we were awesome. And we were awesome, apparently. But it's like, I think some people kind of didn't want to join. They stopped and
Yeah.
we learned that the second year.
Not having an attitude. I mean, that's
Yeah,
what took
not saying we
me.
necessarily had that, but
No, I thought you guys were fine, but the people that were leaving when I came in, and there's a reason I didn't teach Lindy Hop for a couple of years, because it was kind of a hostile thing between the current club leader, as if I was taking away from his status by knowing more than him. So that was not a welcoming environment in that sense. But,
I think charging would have been a mistake if we had charged our club. I think would have. I mean, we wouldn't have had like 60, 90, however many people we had like the first time after the co-curricular fair. Like I don't think it would have been as overwhelmingly huge numbers. It would have been a modest trickle with that.
Any mistakes with swing baby males? The leads that you were
Don't
in
laugh at
search
them.
of?
Just don't laugh at them.
Even when they run up to you and dive on their knees and.
Dude, Dux has done that and he has a nice scar.
So our senior year, after our lesson, I remember this vividly. Like we said, like please come dance. Like told everyone, please come dance with us. Don't feel intimidated. And then there's this freshman guy from all the way across the room, ran across the room, slid on his knees in front of me, begging to dance with me. And that was Jakob Polson.
Oh,
And-
yeah.
after that. Because and it was like I totally like that just caught my attention. I'm like, awesome, let's dance. Even though it is like he had one lesson, did not like. So obviously that's where he was at. So didn't put him down or anything. Just like thank you so much. That was really fun.
And more so than saying, don't be afraid to come to us, go out to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huge difference there.
Yes.